Okay, so my name's Chris Pope. I'm the Managing Director of Global Customer Services at the New York Stock Exchange. I guess what we like about ServiceNow is how easy it is to use, quick to deploy, and the fact that it's modern technology that people are used to using, whether it's Facebook, iTunes. It's very modern, it's browser-based, you can hit it from any device kind of thing, and it's simple. They understand it, and it doesn't require hours and hours of training to actually use the product.
So what made you go with ServiceNow.com? What was the deciding factor?
If you take the politics out of it, which are rife in any company, I think for us it was time to deploy, but also how we would support the product once it went live, which typically in a lot of organizations you need people to do. The product is almost self-sustaining, and with a few tweaks here and there, it's very simple to use, very simple to support, and it's rapid to deploy it. So I think you can change it and move it over time quite easily, but the major thing is it doesn't take a lot to support the product. Obviously we won't go into the price conversation, but you know, it's a factor, but I think because they're very easy to work with as a company and open to your ideas, and how other customers build good things and they get integrated into the core, I essentially get them for free and don't have to build them myself. So it was a fairly easy decision.
Chris, someone pointed out that the community factor, which is what you just addressed, the community factor of ServiceNow.com is really important.
It is, it's huge, and having worked with many of these types of products over the last 10, 15 years, this is the first one that's really kind of, it's almost got that internet social revolution kind of thing behind it, whereby customers talk to each other openly and freely, and because the majority, I'd say if not all, have positive experience, there's not a lot of negativeness around the product, and events like this and the user groups, the round tables, etc. that they hold, people are very keen to talk about good things, and if it's an exciting or a positive experience that they've had, they're more likely to talk about it than sit there and gripe and moan and kind of air their dirty laundry, because then you start getting into, well, you know, so-and-so said this or so-and-so said that. And it's almost a personal failure at this point. Whereas if you can stand up there and shout from the rooftops and blow your own trumpet kind of thing, people are more likely to listen, and you're going to be happier doing that.
Explain to us the depth of the product and how your company is using it and how you think you might expand it.
I think, you know, it's still a fairly new product when you compare it to its competitors. It can go very deep, but I think it also depends on the maturity of the organization. So for us, we had something already. We had a lot of, you know, customizations and an ingrained process, if you will. And we know it can take us the next 5, 10 years pretty easily, depending where we want to go as a company as well. You know, it lends itself to take it out of the box, you know, and it does what it says on the tin, and you can use it. If you want to go very deep, controlled, compliance, a lot more structure to it, again, it adds it to it, but you have to balance that against where you're taking the product from a support standpoint, but also, is it the right thing to do for your business? So I think, you know, where a lot of the other tools go very deep day one, and you end up disabling a lot of technology out of the gate, I think they have a good balance of addressing the little guy and the big guy at the same time, because you can adopt all of it, or you can eat the whole thing, or you can just take a piece of the pie. So it fits for the small 0 to 50 employee companies all the way up to the larger multi-thousands. And again, you just pick the point and how far you want to go.
Well, what we're talking about really requires good people to adapt it to any given customer. Tell me about their people, how you work with them, and what kind of people they are. So
the ServiceNow team for us, we had an engagement manager who basically was there to keep us honest. They know the product better than anybody because, you know, they are the manufacturer. And we didn't want to go down any rat holes that potentially put us in a place where we were going to be where we were previously with other tools, but we just changed the color essentially, or you put a different name on it, right? So they kept us very honest, but then also their developers, the system's written in a yes, it's JavaScript, but it's written in a proprietary way, if you will. They tell you the best way to do it, and that this will keep you optimized, in line with the core code and doing the right thing long term, rather than, again, going down a rat hole that potentially is a point where we can't support you. So, you know, they provide good oversight, they have good experience. I think if anything, you know, they don't have the number of deployments, obviously, as any of their competitors, just because they haven't been around so long. But I think what they found is a lot of big customers have gone from the traditional players in this market and switched to ServiceNow, because it actually does work, and it works very quickly, and you can show results quickly rather than saying, you know, we bought a product, we'll be live in 12 months. For us personally, it was within 16 weeks we were live and in production. So that, in these times when everyone's scrambling for money, resources, people, to say yes, within 12, 16 weeks we'll have something tangible you can use is a very compelling story.
Tell me, Chris, how has ServiceNow.com made your life easier?
I think for me, the users are a lot more empowered to do what they need to do. In previous deployments of other tools, you often need an administrator or someone with a higher level of rights to do something or code something in a way that allows it to be opened up. I think straight out of the gate, the security model and the way the system performs makes it easy for users to do things. So for me, the overhead is a lot less in supporting users because it's intuitive, it's simple to use, and it's relevant because it's browser-based. It's very much a Facebook, an iTunes, that kind of concept that, well, if I click here, oh, it actually does what I want it to do. Great, I'll move on. As opposed to having to figure out what you do and you don't need to do. And for us, training was 60 minutes. Previous products, it was up to 2 days. So the return there is enormous.
Now, we've talked about ease, we've talked about speed. Tell me a little bit more about implementation. Just how well did that go for you?
So I think for us, the implementation went very, very well. We put a lot of focus on over-communicating and marketing. We wanted to get out of the stigma of just replacing the old tool. We changed the color, we changed the name. No, this is something new. It's different to what you've done before, and it will make your life easier and simpler to support the environment we support. So for us, you know, we did a very rapid, almost prototype deployment where we had ideas, we had requirements, we built them, and then we showed them off and let people play with them and put it in their own hands. That made it very iterative, that it was something tangible that they could touch, they could feel, and also own to say, well, you know, that was my idea, or that was my idea. Oh, look, it's in the product and everyone gets to use it globally. So, and we did a good job of saying, you know what, Chris in operations or Dave in facilities, whoever they are, came up with this idea. We think it makes sense. Do we have consensus? Yes. Everyone in the company now gets to use that functionality. So it was kind of a self-fulfilling, self-promoting kind of way of doing it.
So now that you're live with ServiceNow.com, has that given you some advantage in the industry?
I don't know if it's an advantage, because a lot of times it's just internal to IT, right? And we're getting better at what we do and slicker and more productive. We respond to things quicker, we fix things quicker. You know, if the industry we're in, you know, our big competitors are the NASDAQs of the world. You know, does it mean we get more listings than NASDAQ do? Probably not. But we know that if you come to us, your support experience will be a lot better than it was previously. And if that's an advantage, then yes, I would say so. If you call us versus calling NASDAQ and we fix it and we respond quicker, then yes, it's an advantage.
Chris, if somebody were on the fence and they came to you and asked about ServiceNow.com, would you recommend them?
I think I would recommend ServiceNow. It does depend what they had previously and how much they've invested in time and money and resources. But I think it's what do you want to control? What do you want to care about? If you want to be in the business of building your own platform, managing your own platform, being the guy that gets called at 3 o'clock in the morning when it goes down and people in London or Asia can't log in, and you want to be that hero, knock yourself out, right? Go and buy one of the other products. If you want to concentrate on getting better, having a tool that's simple to use, easy to use, and people adopt it quickly, and not have to worry about servers going over, databases, backups, retention, security, give it away. Let ServiceNow do it. Go and concentrate on what's good for you and your company, what's in your company's DNA that you do best. Concentrate on that, and let someone else manage that problem for you, you know, of the hosting, the network connectivity, etc. You know, that's what they do. Let them do it.